Hello guys, Haas here. Wanted to discuss a bit more MMO news, if you will, as just a while ago they announced the Elder Scrolls Online pre-order specifications and the Collector's Edition, named the Imperial Edition. And well, it seems like there's a lot of nonsense going on here. Elder Scrolls Online is of course going to be a box purchase and then subscription-based game, and I have in the past voiced my concerns when it comes to this model. Mainly when it comes to the viability of said model, as I have, personally, no actual problems with paying monthly for a game I enjoy. I have done so numerous times in the past and will gladly do so in future, as subscription-based games tend to have quite a few benefits. Of course, for the actual developers themselves, as there should, theoretically, be a much more steady income, allowing them to focus on properly patching the game instead of working to sell microtransaction items. And, more importantly, for us players, this means we won't have to concern ourselves with paywalls. We should have access to everything there is available. We are, after all, paying every month and expect our money's worth. And I am, of course, not talking about earning your gear or other items, as that is an integral part of the game experience and a completely different subject. But the point is, you pay every month, you can access the entire game. So, Elder Scrolls Online, subscription-based game. Let's have a look at the pre-order benefits first. You get these both in the Standard and Imperial Editions, providing you of course pre-order the game. 5 days early access, just for the PC versions of this game, not the console ones. Play as any race in any alliance, a vanity pet, and a bonus treasure map. Now, I don't necessarily take issue with any of these bonuses. Early access is pretty common and not something I take issue with. A vanity pet is of course completely meaningless and just cute. A bonus treasure map is unlikely to matter a lot. It's probably nice the first few weeks until all of this will inevitably become common knowledge on the wikis and whatnot. And then you can play any race in any alliance. Now, the way Elder Scrolls Online works is that you have 3 factions with each 3 races for 9 races total. For instance, the Ebonheart Pact is one of the factions and includes the Nords, the Dunmer or Dark Elves, and the Argonians. Meaning that if you want to play any of these races, the Nords, Dunmer, or Argonians, you are forced to be in the Ebonheart Pact, unless you pre-order. This is more of a weird choice I find than anything else. The reasoning for these 3 alliances is of course the big PvP focus they are going for here. Now, they've been pretty adamant in this, and although the lore here is a bit funny in places and some of these alliances seemed forced to me, I understand the reasoning behind these 3 factions and these race limits with the factions. So this whole pre-order bonus thing, it's just a curious change of heart more than anything. It's of course very nice for those that want to play with friends. Say I'd like to play a High Elf, but a friend of mine wants to play a Dark Elf. Then this of course solves that problem. At, I suppose, the expense of a realistic alliance balance. Looking at it lore-wise, having some defectors that join another alliance or whatnot can certainly work, although I'm sure there will be some rather strange lore moments because of this. But at the end of the day, I don't have a big issue with this. It's just curious. I will say I'd much rather have this be a timed event, such as everyone that plays in the first month can do this, as opposed to only people that pre-order. But that aside, now the big news. The Collector's Edition, or the Imperial Edition as it is so appropriately named. First of all, an Imperial White Horse, a mount, which allows you to journey with increased speed. This is most definitely the same speed as any other mount though, so it's probably just a small flavor thing, meaning there's really no issue here. A Mudcrab Vanity Pet, who gives a crab? I'll let myself out. The Rings of Mara, which grant you and one other player increased experience. Now, this could actually be a problem. There are people that won't at all care about leveling speed, but likewise there are a lot of people that do care and like the idea of being first, and essentially these rings do make it so that anyone not buying the Collector's Edition is officially out of this experience race, and whomever ends up being world first will undoubtedly be someone that paid for this. Certainly a valid concern. But the big thing, play as an Imperial. Now, this is where they definitely drop the ball, and where this entire thing just becomes completely nonsense. Play as an Imperial and play in any alliance, gain unique bonuses, crafting styles, gear, and more. Big issue. This should not be a thing. period. Imperial is not a playable faction normally. They are a NPC faction, and unless this is suddenly changed, but certainly this page seems to hint at it being an exclusive 10th race, this is absolutely nonsense. Races are a big thing in MMOs, or RPGs of any nature really. If you do not enjoy your race, chances are you are going to like your character a lot less, if not just hate your character in the first place. They are probably the most important skin, so to speak, in the entire game. The way your character looks from start to end, how gear looks on your character, how he or she walks, and just generally feels, it's for a huge part based on your race, if not exclusively based on your race. Not to mention, there are actual racial bonuses, unique racial bonuses apparently, so they aren't going to be the same as other established races, meaning there is an actual benefit to playing these when you break it down to mere stats. Now, lastly, if you get the physical collector's edition, you also get a nice map, an illustrated guide, and a rather fancy looking statue. This all makes sense and is completely expected from a physical collector's edition, which is all quite nice to have. So essentially, the big, overwhelming problem comes in the form of this utterly ridiculous behind paygate race they are attempting to pull off here. Imperial is a big race in the Elder Scrolls universe. There are a lot of people that will want to play as Imperials, and they are now forced to pay extra to do so. This shouldn't happen. This is a problem because Elder Scrolls Online is a one-time purchase plus subscription-based game. There shouldn't be any paygates. This Imperial Edition is one big paygate. For a free-to-play game or a one-time purchase and then free-to-play game, this would have been fair, if not completely expected, but for a subscription-based game, this is just garbage. The big selling point of this edition is a freaking exclusive race that you, as a subscription payer, should regardless have full access to. This is just a blatant money grab. Subscription-based games are liked because you pay the fee and then are ensured to get access to everything. A steady stream of content without ever having to worry about the whole, do I have to pay to get this one item? And in this case, that item is a whole race, a huge part of MMOs that is both aesthetically extremely important and comes with actual statistical benefits. This is just a cash grab. I can't see their justification of doing this with a subscription-based game at all. It makes no sense, and it is painfully unfair to customers. Right, so, those are my thoughts on the pre-order and collector's edition, or Imperial Edition, for Elder Scrolls Online. I am disappointed, needless to say. Maybe they'll change, and I hope they do, but for now, my name is Ben Haas. By all means, share your thoughts on these additions and bonuses, and I'll see you in the next video.